So my purpose of visit is generally to visit the field for the research, which is going to happen between 22nd and 29th. So I just also wanted to know how the research is going on.
Of course, exam research program is going on as per schedule.
Okay.
Pilot visit has already been completed by our research team. They have little bit prepared a report also, and we have disseminated the report with some people who are really engaged in TSG and PRI system. And they, a lot of inputs came from them also, and we are incorporating their views also in the pilot visit.
Okay.
And just after dissemination workshop, we learned a lot from the senior people who have done in this issue since a long time.
Yeah.
And in this visit, which is final visit, we have completed 3 visits, one in Koti, Lohardaga and Pakur. And fourth one visit is in Dumka, which is commencing from tomorrow.
How is Pete?
He has traveled 1 or 2 field also.
Okay.
And he has got first-hand information of research program also.
Yeah.
So it will help in documentation.
Okay. So can I just meet Pete and come?
Of course.
Okay. I'll meet you later.
Of course.
Thanks. Hi Pete.
Hi Praveen, have a seat.
How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You just arrived?
Yeah, I just came 10 minutes back.
So how was your journey?
Fine.
Okay.
This is your workstation?
Yeah, this is where I sit in the office and this is where I do most of my work.
Okay. And you have a computer?
No, I don't have a computer on my desk because Manthan only have 3 computers.
Okay.
And we have a staff of around 25 here.
Okay.
So we have 3 computers between 25.
Oh.
So I don't have one on my desk, which means I normally do most stuff by hand. And then when I can get a chance to get on the computer, do my typing then. Okay, should we go and see my accommodation?
Yeah, let's do that. I'll take it.
Yeah, I went out and bought one the other day. Hang on a sec. I lost my room. Okay, so welcome to my humble abode.
Oh, nice.
I'll give you a quick guided tour.
Okay.
Come around here. I have. This is my fridge.
Okay. Okay.
And then over here. This is my bed.
Okay.
And this is my mosquito net, which you just headshotted.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so over here on the left there's a small dresser unit that Manthan provided for me with a mirror and somewhere to keep all my clothes.
Okay.
And then come over here on the right, I've got a small sink here.
Oh, good, okay.
Where I can clean my teeth and stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my kitchen, which Manthan provided for me.
Okay.
I also have just a small work study desk here in my room as well.
Oh, okay.
Which is quite nice for just sitting down reading books or writing letters home.
Oh, so you spend your evenings sitting and writing?
Yeah, writing, reading, things like that.
Good.
And that's my room basically. Do you want to come and see the bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay. This is my bathroom where I wash, and I have a normal toilet, which I was quite surprised about, and this is also where I do my clothes washing in these buckets.
Okay. So how has your experience been living in Ranchi for the past 3 months? How do you get around and what do you do basically?
Ranchi's been okay. It was a total culture shock to start with. It's a very busy place, but it's been good, like getting used to going to the fruit and veg market and buying my food there, going to the deli market and buying a live chicken, getting around on rickshaws, etc. It's been nice, and the people here are so friendly. I've been made to feel so welcome. So it's been like, for the past 3 months, it's been a really good experience.
So what's your daily routine like?
Normally I get up at about 7 in the morning, and if I haven't got any food, then I'll go to the shop at the end of the road and buy some eggs and some bread and some milk. Come back here, cook some breakfast. Then about 9 o'clock work starts, everyone turns up at the office. I'll either go out for lunch with colleagues, or I'll come up here and cook myself some lunch or reheat whatever I cooked last night for lunch. Afternoon, normally in the office again, unless we're out doing field work or unless I've got something else I need to do. And then work normally finishes by about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. After that, if I need to go up to the market, I'll walk up to town and go to the fruit and veg market because it's open till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So that's a usual day for me unless we're out in the field doing some work. A usual day in the office would go like that.
New volunteers arriving at VSO India spend 6 weeks in Delhi on in-country training, learning about Indian culture, Indian politics, current development issues and the intervention areas of the programme office. ICO also involves intensive language training and Indian cooking lessons. Following this, unless you are based in Delhi, you'll find yourself packed onto a train where you'll spend anywhere up to 36 hours travelling to your placement. Arriving at your destination can be a little bit daunting. Colleagues from your partner organisation might be waiting for you there, or you might have to find your own way to your placement. If it's the latter, there's never a shortage of autos or rickshaws vying for your business at train stations, so you shouldn't have any problems arranging transport. Try and make sure though that your rickshaw puller or driver understands where you want to go. A bit of repetition of the name of the place you're going to usually helps. When you arrive at your placement, you'll see where you're going to be working for the next 3, 6, 12 or 24 months, however long your placement is for. It could be exactly what you're expecting, it could be completely different. I know for me that the mental picture I had in my head of Manthan and the place I arrived at on my first day were two totally different things. Every placement is what you make of it though, and some of the best tactics a new volunteer can take on when first arriving in placement is to relax, to get to know your colleagues, get to know your organisation and find out what they do and how they do it. Knowing where and when you can buy food, buy fruits and vegetables and other essential items is a pretty useful thing to know, and for me was really high up on my agenda after I arrived in placement. Being based in a large town, I found that there were a few main fruit and veg markets and poultry or meat markets around town that were open all week long, along with a few others that took place in various spots around town on different days. What's available will vary depending upon the season, but basics like potatoes, tomatoes and cauliflower, and fruits such as apples and bananas are available all year round, along with the all-essential onions and chilies. Most items are sold by the kilo, by the half kilo or the quarter kilo, and when you're purchasing fruit and veg in the market, don't be afraid to have a good look at what you're buying before you buy, or about pointing out at which particular tomato or potato you want. It's generally the done thing. Volunteers that are living in a village or in a small town might find that there is one main market or hat in the village or in the community that occurs once a week, and this is where you'll be able to do all your shopping. The local shop is another good place to get acquainted with during your first few weeks in placement. If you're staying in a large town, you'll find that not far from you there will be a grocery shop selling most essential items like rice, lentils, spices, bread, salt and eggs, etc., along with other things like biscuits, crisps, soap and soap powders. In a small town or village, you'll probably find that there is some sort of shop that sells the daily essentials, although your choice might be a bit more limited. Also, if you are living in a really small village, it might be the case that you have to travel to your nearest town to stock up on essential groceries. A couple of other good places to get to know the whereabouts of in your placement town are the bank and the internet cafe. It's a good idea to open a bank account pretty soon after arriving at your placement so that you can receive your volunteer allowance easily. It can be good to ask a colleague to recommend a bank, especially if your partner organisation is paying part or all of your allowance. Nowadays, internet cafes are pretty much everywhere in India, and you'll find that even small towns will have some kind of facility, even if this does turn out to be a computer in the back room of a tailor shop. Internet cafes with broadband connection are generally known as highways, and there is at least one national franchise of these in India. Stiffy highways are found in all big towns all over the place, and in a number of small ones too, and they offer reliable connection at a pretty decent price. Larger towns will probably have a number of independent highways too. Public phone booths are also really common in India, and those with an ISD line from where you can call abroad are easy enough to find in most towns. Highways also offer good rates to call abroad. Volunteers should be aware that in small Indian towns and villages, it's not common for people, especially women, to go out late at night. In terms of deciding how to act and assessing the safety of a situation, it can be useful to watch what people in your locality do, or to get advice from neighbours or colleagues. Whether you're placed in a village or the work that you're doing in your placement involves you visiting villages fairly regularly, you'll probably find, like I did, that it's an experience that's totally different from living and working in a large town or city in India. It's important in every aspect of your work to take into account the priorities and the needs of the people you're working with, but this tends to be even more pertinent in a village. Agriculture will be the primary source of livelihood for most people, and certain times of the day and certain times of the year can be particularly important in rural communities. Also, things like village markets only happen once a week. Therefore, organisation of events or meetings needs to take these into account. Small informal chats are a good way to start off and can provide useful information, as well as building a rapport that lays the foundations for further work.
John. मेरा नाम पीट मिल्स है और मैं इंग्लैंड से आया हूँ और मैं एक एनजीओ मानता युवा संस्थान रांची काम करता हूँ.
Lifestyle is also totally different in an Indian rural community compared to an urban one, and for me was a serious eye-opener at times. You'll probably find that you are a novelty, but this status tends to be less so than in urban communities. You'll also find that village hospitality can be pretty amazing, and some of the most enjoyable and humbling experiences I've had in India have been in rural villages miles from anywhere. For me, one thing that took some getting used to was Indian roads. Don't be surprised to find yourself jostling for space on any given road with those other Indian pedestrians, the goats, stray dogs, buffalo, occasional chicken, and of course cows that are everywhere. That's in addition to rickshaws, autos, scooters, bikes, cars and trucks. Oh, cows, by the way, take precedent over everything on Indian roads. Spare time and days off offer a respite from the ups and downs of volunteer life, and can be a good time to visit local cultural and tourist attractions and get to know the area that you live in a bit better. Going out is also a good chance to meet new people or meet up with friends or colleagues and get to know what they do in their spare time. Alternatively, weekends are the perfect opportunity to jump on a train or a bus and head away to visit other volunteers or to explore somewhere new. ICO involves 6 weeks of intensive language training, although you might find that you want to continue this when you arrive in your placement. Finding a language teacher will be easier in an urban placement compared to a rural one. However, if you can't find an official language teacher, you'll probably be able to find a colleague or a friend who can help you out. The Indian calendar is full of colourful religious festivals, such as the Hindu festival of Holi that occurs in March every year. Times like this are the perfect opportunity to experience and enjoy Indian culture. Western influences sit side by side with tradition in modern day India, and European style coffee shops and cafes are becoming ever more common right across the country. These can be nice places to go when you fancy a break, or if you are meeting with friends, fellow volunteers or other expatriates.